Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking on something really interesting.
We are. We're looking at this ancient idea about integrity,
Hmm.
leadership, family.
Right, and seeing how it stacks up against what we know now about, well, neuroscience and behavior.
Exactly. Our mission really is to understand this old observation, basically, that if you're consistently, visibly acting with integrity, good things tend to follow for the people who follow you.
And we want to know why that's true, like scientifically, and but maybe more importantly, what makes it so hard? What part of our brain fights against it?
Yeah, so our main source is a snippet from the book of Proverbs, specifically Proverbs 20, verse 7. Very old text, focused on practical wisdom.
But we're not stopping there. We're bringing in evolutionary psychology, brain science.
And specifically, there's a behavioral economics concept called present bias. We'll get into that.
So the hook is, what does one simple, consistent way of acting mean for, say, your kid's future or your team's?
Yeah, the long-term impact of those small, everyday actions, that's what we're digging into.
Okay, let's start with that core text, Proverbs 20, verse 7. What does it actually say?
Well, a pretty literal translation is, "The righteous man who walks in his integrity, his children after him are happy blessed." Makes a pretty direct claim.
Okay, walks in his integrity. That word walks sounds active. It's not just having integrity, is it?
No, absolutely not. And that's crucial. The original Hebrew, mithalek, system metaphor,
Right.
it means your whole life, your continuous behavior.
So not like one big heroic moment.
Not at all. It's the sum total of daily choices. The relentless consistency. Kind of boring, maybe, but powerful.
Well, integrity, we use that word a lot. What does it mean in this context?
Here, Tom, in Hebrew, it means something like flawless consistency. It's about alignment.
Alignment.
Yeah, the integration of your private life and your public persona. No gap. What you do behind closed doors matches what you do out in the open. No exaggeration, no hypocrisy. Just being the same person everywhere.
Okay, so it's less about being perfect and more about being integrated, radically consistent across different areas of life, especially where it counts, like at home.
You got it. That nails it. And the text observes that this kind of consistency tends to lead to a good outcome, generally speaking, for the next generation.
The happy, blessed part.
Right. Which isn't a promise of, like, riches or guaranteed success.
Yeah.
It's more about a favorable tendency, maybe emotional well-being, inheriting trust, learning ethical behavior. It's passing on that trust capital.
So if that walking, that consistent action is the ideal,
Yeah.
what's the biggest danger? What does this kind of wisdom warn us against the most?
Oh, it's very clear on the failure mode. It's the double standard.
Inconsistency.
Exactly. When your standards change, depending on whether you're at work or at home, or, who's watching.
And it's so damaging because kids or employees, anyone really, they're like little anthropologists, aren't they? They watch what you do.
Always. They learn from the actual behavior they see, not the mission statement you wrote or the lecture you gave.
Right.
So when they see a gap between the rule you talk about and the action you take, well, the action wins every single time.
And that hypocrisy, it just craters trust, doesn't it?
Instantly. And it creates confusion. What are the real rules here? What's actually expected? It basically blocks that inheritance of integrity we talked about.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. There's that classic example that came up in the research. The parent at the checkout line.
Ah, yes. The moment of truth.
So you're the parent, your kid is right there watching you, the cashier makes a mistake with the change, gives you a little too much back.
Right. And now you have a choice. It's often a small amount. The choice is take the small immediate gain, maybe it's the few extra bucks, or maybe it's just avoiding the hassle, the awkwardness of correcting them.
Yeah, saving face, maybe.
Right. Versus the long-term, much more abstract value of modeling honesty right then and there.
And in the scenario, the parent stays quiet. Gosh.
Stays quiet, pockets the extra change, walks away. Seems minor.
But hang on. I mean, sometimes pointing it out is a hassle. What if the cashier argues, or you hold up the line? Isn't avoiding conflict sometimes? Okay.
That's a really fair question. And it points right to how we rationalize these things. We tell ourselves it's about efficiency or avoiding conflict.
Okay.
But from the child's perspective, standing right there, the lesson they absorb isn't about conflict avoidance strategies. It's about values in action.
So what do they learn?
They learn, my parent says be honest, but actually it's okay to bend the rules or just stay silent when it's convenient or when the gain is small and nobody will notice.
Ouch. So that tiny moment of silence, it gives permission, essentially.
It validates situational ethics.
Hmm.
It subtly teaches them that core values are negotiable, and that makes it easier for them later to justify, fudging numbers on a report or lying about why they missed a deadline. The small compromise models larger ones.
Wow. Okay, so that brings us right to the core problem. That tiny immediate reward, avoiding hassle, keeping the change, it just steamrolls the big long-term goal of generational integrity. Why? Why are we seemingly wired to fail at this consistency thing?
Well, it's less a moral failing, maybe, and more a feature of our design, our neurobiology.
Our evolution.
Exactly. Think about our ancestors' environment. Short-term survival was everything. Being hyper-focused on the immediate threat or the immediate food source that was adaptive, being flexible, changing priorities based on the immediate situation often kept you alive.
So that old wiring is still running the show, even when the situation is just extra change.
It surfaces as this failure of consistency. Our brains are kind of primed for the shortcut, the immediate payoff.
Okay, so what's the actual psychological term for this battle between the now and the later?
The big one here from behavioral science is present bias. Some call it hyperbolic discounting. It's basically why we struggle to save for retirement or, choose the salad over the donut.
Or hit the snooze button.
Absolutely. In that cashier example, the parent is choosing the immediate reward, no hassle, extra cash, and massively discounting the future benefit.
Which is the child's character, the family's integrity.
Right. That future value feels so far away, so abstract, that our brain basically discounts it down to almost nothing compared to the immediate tangible reward right in front of us.
It's like that future benefit just vanishes mathematically.
Pretty much. Present bias makes the now overwhelmingly attractive.
Okay, this is where the neuroscience comes in, right? Which part of the brain is driving this?
Yes. This decision, this pull towards the immediate gain, is strongly linked to a specific brain region, the ventral striatum, and particularly a part of it called the nucleus accumbens.
The nucleus accumbens. Tell us about that. What's its job?
It's a key part of our brain's reward system. Think of it as the brain's valuation center for immediate gratification. When something offers an easy, quick reward, that eye-level gain, the simple shortcut.
Like the extra change.
Exactly. The nucleus accumbens lights up. It essentially screams, go for it. And that signal can often overpower the more thoughtful, long-term planning parts of our brain, like the prefrontal cortex.
So the prefrontal cortex is trying to say, hey, think about the kid. But the nucleus accumbens is louder, yelling, free money, less hassle, now.
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah.
The limbic system, including the ventral striatum, gets really excited by immediate rewards, while the prefrontal cortex is more involved in weighing delayed consequences and benefits. We're sort of biologically tilted towards grabbing the now.
Okay, so we're fighting biology here. How on earth do we override that powerful immediate reward signal? Can we?
We can, but it takes conscious effort and, importantly, a plan. It can't just rely on willpower in the moment, because the nucleus accumbens is too fast, too strong.
So structure, pre-commitment.
Precisely. The strategy that works well here comes from behavioral psychology. It's called if-then planning. You basically create an automatic response plan before you're in the tempting situation.
Okay, lay it out for us. What's the if-then plan for parents, leaders, anyone who knows they're setting an example?
All right, it's simple, specific, and designed to short-circuit present bias. It centers on that moment you notice the temptation.
The incorrect change, the slightly misleading data point, the opportunity to cut a corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
The structure is, if I notice a small temptation towards dishonesty or inconsistency, something where ignoring it gives me an immediate, easy gain like saving time, money, or face,
Okay.
then I will immediately speak the fact out loud and take action to correct it within 10 seconds.
Immediately speak it out loud. And within
Remember.
10 seconds, why those two elements? Why the verbalizing and why the tight time frame?
Great questions. They're key. First, speaking it out loud, even just, oh, this change isn't right, or wait, that number seems off, does a couple things. It makes the issue concrete. It increases your own self-awareness of the choice you're making.
Pulls it out of just your internal monologue.
Exactly. And it creates instant social accountability. Even if only one other person, like your child or a colleague, hears you. That awareness helps dampen down the purely internal, pleasure-seeking drive from the nucleus accumbens. It introduces a bit of friction.
Okay. And the 10-second rule.
That's critical for beating present bias. Present bias needs a little time to work its magic, to generate those rationalizations. It's too much trouble. It's not a big deal. It wasn't my fault anyway.
The internal debate.
Right. That debate takes longer than 10 seconds. By forcing yourself to act, just speak, and initiate the correction within that tight window, you basically cut off the rationalization process before it can take hold. You execute the pre-planned action instead of getting stuck in the debate.
So it turns an ethical dilemma, which can be paralyzing, into just executing a preloaded habit.
That's the goal. Make the correct action the quick, almost automatic one.
And for the person watching the child, the employee, what do they see?
They see a powerful model. Language plus immediate action. The rule, be honest, matches the behavior. I'm correcting this error right now. And it happens fast. The lesson becomes incredibly clear. This is how we act, even when it's slightly inconvenient.
Let's apply it quickly outside parenting. A team leader, maybe preparing that board presentation, they spot data that weakens their case.
Okay, perfect example. The temptation is huge. Just omit it, gloss over it. The immediate reward is avoiding tough questions, looking better.
The nucleus accumbens is screaming, hide it!
Exactly. So the if-then plan kicks in. If I see data that contradicts the narrative or reveals an uncomfortable truth, then within 10 seconds of noticing it, I will verbalize its importance, maybe just mutter, okay, need to include this, and physically add it to the notes or slide before my brain can talk me out of it.
Commitment to immediate transparency.
Yes, that's the walking in integrity. It's that consistent, visible choice for correctness, even when small, that builds the real trust capital the ancient wisdom talks about.
This is really powerful. It connects the ancient observation about walking with the very real moment-by-moment battle against our own brain wiring, against present bias.
It really does. Integrity isn't passive. It's an active, continuous fight.
But we do need to add that note of caution again, right? From the sources. This isn't a magic formula.
Absolutely crucial. This wisdom describes a general tendency, a higher probability of good outcomes. It's not a deterministic guarantee.
Meaning you can walk perfectly in integrity and your kids might still make bad choices or your business might still face hardship for unrelated reasons.
Exactly. Life is complex. People have free will. Suffering happens even to the righteous. This principle has to be understood alongside other truths. It's about controlling the one input you truly can control, your own consistent, visible behavior. You're stacking the odds in favor of a good outcome.
Raising the probability through that relentless, visible correctness, that seems like the ultimate takeaway.
I think so. That fight for alignment, day in and day out, is the path.
So let's leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on, something to maybe reflect on.
Okay.
If this mechanism, the ventral striatum and present bias, constantly pushes us to choose the easy, immediate thing like keeping the change, or glossing over bad news over the distant, harder thing, like our children's character or long-term trust, what other really important long-term goals are we maybe undermining with similar small, daily, almost invisible compromises? Think about health, career advancement, maybe even the depth of our relationships.
That's a sobering thought.
Great.
Where else is that immediate reward instinct quietly sabotaging the future we say we want?
The fight for integrity, it seems, is everywhere. And maybe it always starts with noticing that temptation and making the right choice out loud in those first 10 seconds.